Hey, what's going on, guys? B-Lam here, back with another video, and today is going to be a little bit of a shift, no pun intended, in terms of what I'm going to be talking about in this video, and it's going to be on the Mario Kart series. This is the very first time that I've covered the Mario Kart series on this channel, and I love this series. Like, out of all of the Mario spin-off series, the Mario Kart series is by far my favorite. I poured hours into many of the different titles in the series. In fact, I think the first game that I ever remember playing is Mario Kart Double Dash. I had no idea what I was doing at the time, but nonetheless, I think that was actually the very first video game I ever played. In Mario Kart Wii, specifically the online, I played for such a long time. In Mario Kart 7, I played online there as well, and I even 100%ed the game by getting 3 stars in every single cup and every single class, and collecting all the kart parts as well. And same deal for Mario Kart 8. I even took the time to get all of the gold parts in the game by collecting 10,000 coins to get them all. And it wasn't easy to get all those parts. It definitely took a while to get them. There was even like a little trick that ended up not really working, in which you can collect multiple coins in a race by just standing at a certain spot, but you can only collect 10 coins per race. And even with that, even after realizing that this trick didn't work, I still raced and 100% of the game, even collecting all of the stamps in the game as well. But with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, an enhanced port of Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, it didn't really draw me back into the game because not much was added to it. I mean, yeah, sure, there was a new battle mode, a few new characters, a few new items, and a few new kart parts, but it really wasn't worth double dipping. 90% of the content that I experienced in the original game was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I didn't feel that it was worth paying $60 just to experience 10% new content. Especially after technically spending a total of $72 on the original Mario Kart 8, because I bought both DLC packs 1 and 2, which were a Zelda pack and an Animal Crossing pack. And those packs were also brought back into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is cool, but again, I already paid $12 for that on the original version, and I've already experienced it. It's not worth paying the money again. One thing that could really bring me back and convince me to double dip into Mario Kart 8 by buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are new and returning tracks. And I'm not talking about battle courses, I'm talking about actual tracks to race on. In Mario Kart 8, the visuals are absolutely stunning, and it's by far one of the prettiest looking Nintendo games I've ever played. And the retro tracks in particular, almost every retro track feels brand new to me, because the developers really took the time to completely reimagine all of the retro tracks and make them feel brand new. And that got me thinking into making a video about this topic, which is the top 5 Mario Kart tracks I'd like to see return, either in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as DLC, or if DLC isn't happening for 8 Deluxe, perhaps in a future Mario Kart game. A few disclaimers: I'm not going to be including any tracks that have already returned in the series before, because I feel that the list will be more interesting if I talk about tracks that have never returned before. So, as much as I'd like to see a track like Waluigi Pinball in HD, which is one of my absolute favorite tracks in the series, it's not going to be included on this list because it already returned before. And also, if there is going to be a Mario Kart 9, I'm not going to be including Mario Kart 8 tracks on this list because, one, the game is still super recent, especially with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and also, if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is going to have DLC, bringing back tracks from Mario Kart 8 into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as DLC wouldn't make sense, because as of right now, 8 and 8 Deluxe has the exact same track selection. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Here are the top 5 tracks that I'd like to see return in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Let's get started. Starting off with my number 5 is going to be Wario Shipyard from Mario Kart 7. Now, when it comes to Mario Kart 7, I feel that a lot of the tracks in the game were a little bland and a little easy in my opinion. I feel that there weren't too many tracks that were super involving and super dynamic, and super fun to race on, but Wario Shipyard is one of those exceptions, as this track is a heck of a lot of fun to race on. And there's a constant theme of switching between underwater and on land. You have to be on your toes on this track, as there's like a good number of turns, a good number of jumps to make. You know, there's a few hits here and there, a few obstacles. This track is like just a lot of fun. It's super action-packed. Every time you race on this track, like, it's definitely going to be a fast-paced race every time. And of course, I have no doubt that the visual upgrade would be pretty good in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But the main reason I want this track to come back is because in recent memory, this track is one of the most fun to race on, and it's by far one of my favorite tracks to race on in Mario Kart 7, so it deserves to be my number 5. Next up is my number 4, which is going to be Woohoo Loop, also from Mario Kart 7. What's special about Woohoo Loop is this is actually the first track ever in the series to be outside of the Mario or Donkey Kong series. And this is from the Wii series of games, specifically Wii Sports Resort and Wii Fit Plus, but it debuted in Wii Sports Resort. I really like the theme of this track taking place on Woohoo Island and you racing around the island, which I think is super cool. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Woohoo Town returns from Mario Kart 7 as a battle stage, and the visual upgrade is excellent there. And I feel that bringing Woohoo Loop would make everything come full circle, or, you know, full loop, because Woohoo Loop.
Boo! You stink!
And yeah, the visual upgrade to Woohoo Loop would look just as stunning as Woohoo Town. And in some ways even more stunning, because rather than just taking place in one central area of Woohoo Island, it's around the entire island itself. And the stage Woohoo Island in Smash Bros. Ultimate also looks very, very great. And I think that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe it can look even better, since you're actually racing in and out and around Woohoo Island. And I think that it'll look spectacular. This track has a really, really nice theme to it. It's one of those tracks that's outside of the Mario series in general. And Mario Kart 8 has a lot of tracks that are outside of the Mario series. Hyrule Circuit from Zelda, the Animal Crossing track, the Excite Bike Arena, and even F-Zero tracks as well. So adding the Wii series to this list, it's totally welcome. Now, as far as the track itself, I think that this track is still pretty fun. It's not too difficult, but there's still some turns here and there. It's definitely not like a track that you should sleep on. And in terms of tracks in general, I like tracks that are very involving or challenging. There may be some players that like easy track, but I'm one of those players that want a challenge whenever it comes to racing, because I consider myself to be a pretty good Mario Kart player. Now, the reason why this is over Wario Shipyard is mainly because of the theme of racing on Woohoo Island. I think that theme is really, really cool. And the fact that it's the first track ever revealed that's outside of the Mario or Donkey Kong series. And I kind of think that the Donkey Kong series is kind of merged into the Mario series in this case. So it's the first track that's outside of Mario that's ever been introduced in Mario Kart. And I think that the theme is very, very special. While I think that Wario Shipyard is a bit more fun to race on, it's a bit more action-packed, I think that the theme of Woohoo Loop takes priority over that, because I think that the theme of racing around the island, and also not having it be 3 laps but 1 full lap, is really, really cool. I like tracks that have different sections as opposed to having 3 laps. That's why Big Blue is my personal favorite track in Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. So Woohoo Loop is going to be my number 4. Makalu is in this list as my number 3 from Mario Kart 7. This also takes place on Woohoo Island, but I just straight up like this more than Woohoo Loop because it takes place during the afternoon and it has a nice sunset in the background. It has a nice change of pace to it, and you race on a different section of Woohoo Island than on Woohoo Loop. And with Makalu, you actually race inside the volcano of Makalu and around it as well. And I especially like the 3rd section of the tracks, because this is another one of those tracks that don't have 3 laps, but rather 3 sections. The glider section towards the end of the track feels so good, and is one of the most satisfying things to experience in Mario Kart 7. And similar to the visual upgrade that Woohoo Loop can have, Makalu has the potential to be one of the most beautiful tracks ever in Mario Kart history. With the sunset, it can look absolutely gorgeous, especially with that final glider section that you race across the sky. You feel like a superhero at that part. And I feel that this has more potential to be stunning visually than Woohoo Loop. And again, it has the similar theme of racing around the island and being outside of the Mario series, which I like track like that. It brings more variety to the track selection. But the main things that put Makalu over Woohoo Loop is because it takes place during a sunset, which I think would look beautiful in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You get to race in and around the volcano, and the final section is one of the most fun sections in terms of gliding in the game. So that's why Makalu is my number 3 track on this list. My number 2 track is finally going to be from a game other than Mario Kart 7, Toad's Factory from Mario Kart Wii. Toad's Factory is so much fun. This is one of the earlier tracks that you'll find in the game, and it's pretty challenging for one of the first 4 tracks in the game. And I love its theme. It's so dynamic. The themes are constantly changing as well because you're racing in different parts of the factory, different obstacles are coming. From the very beginning, you have to avoid the stoppers, and then you go to the conveyor belts that are traveling across and straight forward and backward. And there's the huge jump that you have to make, and also the section with the mud and the tractors. I feel that this track is just, there's a lot going on for a track that shows up pretty early on in the game, and in the Mushroom Cup, which is the first cup in the game. Not to mention the music. The song for this track is so darn catchy, man. Like it's just so fun to listen to. The main reasons that Toad's Factory are over the other 3 tracks that I've listed is because this track has a great theme. Even though Woohoo Loop and Makalu are outside of the Mario series, which I think is cool in terms of adding variety, Toad's Factory, even though it's technically within the Mario realm, it still has an excellent theme, and it's still very dynamic. It's very involving, it's action-packed. There's a lot going on, there's a lot that you have to watch out for, there's obstacles, you can't sleep on this track. It's just so much fun to race on, and this is one of the tracks that I would just be picking a lot, because I love this track. This track is so much fun. And Wario Shipyard, again, it's also very fun, but I think that Toad's Factory is just a little bit more fun as well. Plus, I mean, I think that the music also bumps it up as well, because that theme is just such a great theme. It's such a great song. Sort of has like a jazzy feel to it, you know, it hypes you up and that you're going to have one heck of a time racing on this track. So yeah, Toad's Factory, great track, and it's great enough to be my number 2. Now before we get into the number 1, we gotta do the honorable mention, and that honorable mention is gonna be Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. A game I'm sure you guys are used to hearing at this point. Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 7 is my favorite version of Rainbow Road in the entire series. Like I said before, I love tracks that have sections rather than laps because you get to see more of what the track can be. Rather than seeing the track 3 times in one race, you get to see something different each section in one full race. And I love tracks like that because more can be shown to the player and more things can be introduced to the player as the race goes on. And Rainbow Road takes this to its full advantage by pretty much racing across space. You start off with a few jumps here and there, you know, and there are no barriers on this track as well, so you know, you gotta watch out for that. But as the track goes on, you'll be racing around planets, there's different jumps to make, there's glider sections, you'll be racing on the rings of what looks to be Saturn, and eventually you'll even race on the moon. And it doesn't stop there, you go through a tunnel going out through this sort of, I guess, tube, and then you will fly into star rings, and then there's one final section where you race up, race down, I love this track, man. And the reason why it's not ranked on this list is because guess what? We got 3 Rainbow Roads in this game already. We got the Wii U Rainbow Road, the Rainbow Road that's original to Mario Kart 8, SNES Rainbow Road, which returned as DLC in Mario Kart 8 originally, and N64 Rainbow Road. And preferably, I'd like to see tracks that have a different theme than another Rainbow Road coming back. As much as I love Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road, it's my favorite track because it has just so much to offer, and I'm so glad that it's not 3 laps. It's the only track, besides N64 Rainbow Road in MK8, that has sections, and I love what it does. It's different in each section you race on, and I love it. But, it's another Rainbow Road, and I would like to see tracks with different themes get into the spotlight. But nonetheless, I had to mention this amazing track here as an honorable mention. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 track out of all tracks that have not yet returned in the Mario Kart series that I want to see come back in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's DLC or a future Mario Kart title is going to be Wario Colosseum from Mario Kart Double Dash. And how has this track not been brought back already? Like, this feels like a beta test for Mario Kart 8. Like, this is literally a roller coaster ride. It is action-packed, it is fast-paced, lots of turns, and especially if this was back in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with its anti-gravity mechanics, oh my gosh, the developers could take advantage of this track like nobody's business. Like, they could completely go off the walls with this track, man. Like, I love tracks like this. Like, it's just so fast-paced, so many turns, you gotta watch out. There's so much going on. It's one of the most challenging tracks in Double Dash and in the entire series, really. I cannot believe that the developers haven't brought this back yet, because this feels like a precursor to Mario Kart 8. This feels like that this track was, in a way, ahead of its time. Heck, even GameXplain made a video on this a while back about how Wario Colosseum could work with the mechanics of Mario Kart 8. And dang, I'm just so surprised that this hasn't brought back. This track is in the running for one of my favorite tracks ever in Mario Kart, and this track is just off the walls fun. This is literally a roller coaster ride that is screaming at Mario Kart 8 in terms of its mechanics. And yeah, this is the track that Mario Kart 8 needs, and this will be a 100% perfect fit for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And even if it appears in a future Mario Kart title, like in Mario Kart 9, this track is so much fun. This track is just off the walls fun. It's just so great, and it's one of the few tracks out there that has never been brought back that I totally want brought back, because this track is just amazing. It is an outstanding track, and it is no doubt it just fits perfectly. I mean, the reason should be clear as to why it's over the other tracks listed. It's because it would fit so perfectly into how Mario Kart 8 plays. It literally feels like a roller coaster ride, and with the anti-gravity mechanics in Mario Kart 8, the developers could completely remix this track and make it even more fun potentially. So yeah, Wario Colosseum from Mario Kart Double Dash, totally my number 1 track on this list. And that's it. Those are the top 5 Mario Kart tracks I'd like to see return in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as DLC or in a future Mario Kart title that have not yet come back. You'll see that for a lot of this list, a lot of it was from Mario Kart 7. And the reason why a lot of it was from Mario Kart 7 is either because a lot of tracks from a certain Mario Kart game have already been brought back, or I just simply don't care about certain Mario Kart titles. Like, for example, Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart Super Circuit, which are on the SNES and GBA respectively. I mean, I really don't like those games too much. I mean, Super Mario Kart I've only played for 5 minutes, so I can't give a fair opinion on that. And for Super Circuit, the physics feel so weird with that game. It feels weird to play Super Circuit, and I haven't really enjoyed it that much. As far as Mario Kart 64 is concerned, only one track has never been brought back from that game, and literally every other track has. Plus, I've never played Mario Kart 64. That's actually the only Mario Kart game I have never played. There was a track from Double Dash and Wii. Double Dash and Wii have been around for a good while, so a good number of tracks have already been brought back in later games. But there's still a couple of tracks from those games that I included in the list. As for Mario Kart DS, same deal. It's been around for over a decade, so a good number of tracks from that have already been brought back, and there really wasn't anything that I wanted from that game to come back. And that just leaves Mario Kart 7, because Mario Kart 7 is a more recent title in the series, and there's some gems in that game. Even though the good number of tracks in the game were, kind of easy and a little bland, there were still a good number of tracks that were really, really good. And Mario Kart 8 is way too recent. Plus, this list was made with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC in mind. But regardless, I still hope that you guys enjoyed listening to this. Be sure to let me know in the comments below if you have any tracks of your own that you like to see return in 8 Deluxe as DLC or in a future game. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the video and you liked what you saw and I made your day just a little bit better, please consider subscribing to the channel for more on Mario Kart, Nintendo, gaming, and more. Like the video and share it with others to let me know that I'm doing a good job with the content and that you're enjoying what you're seeing and you want more. Be sure to follow me on social media such as Twitter for updates, news, and other topics, Twitch for live streams, and Instagram for fun pictures and more. With all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Take care, have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.